So today I wanted to break down how I made this scene. I'm calling it Dark Forest Towers. I made this with my own castle pack that is available for you guys on Gumroad. Check the link in the description if you guys want to pick up this castle pack. And it comes with this scene as well. There are going to be some assets that will not be included because they are through the Blender Kit add-on. So I don't know if I have the rights to include those, but I will be packaging all of this up for you guys to create your own castles with. So the first thing I started with was this cliff face. It's a free asset from TurboSquid. It's just a photo scan of some sea cliffs. Now this is meant to be much smaller than what I used it for. As you can see, some of the details are pretty low quality and there's quite a few gaps in the mesh. But the way that I was dressing it up, I decided it would work just perfect to kind of just be a far away object. And I scaled it a little bit differently, set up my camera, and used a particle system with some assets from the Blender Kit add-on. Just a couple trees and 3 different bushes. With the bushes, what I did is I scaled them to be a little bit different, and then I colored them a little bit differently as well. I made some red, some yellow, some green, and a slightly different green than the trees so that the trees would be a variant of color splashing in the background. Next thing I brought in was these walls. They have a simple array modifier on them, and I messed with the UVs a little bit. So down here in the UVs, you can make it to where they're a little bit offset so you don't get perfect repetition. Definitely add some variation that makes it look realistic. After that, I added in these towers. Now these towers are made out of assets from the pack, right? So I just duplicated this group of assets, added in some more pillars, added in some more gateways. And when you add a bunch of those pieces together, some dome pieces, when you add all of those together, you get something like this. They're all kind of their own thing. I didn't use an array to get those to go down, but I just Alt-Shift made duplicates, slightly rotated them so that you get some variation. So this is what these look like. And these pillars didn't have changed UVs. The pillars are exactly the same, but from a distance, you're not going to be able to tell. Clip things through, make a tower, and then duplicate it over and make another tower. I moved my camera around a lot, trying to find exactly what was going to look the best, and I really wanted it to look massive, so I have my camera down at a low angle looking up and at 50 millimeter length, so it's actually technically the same default focal length that Blender starts you out with. These buildings here are actually just this duplicated, and I use an array to get those to go up. There's actually an array that comes added onto it, and so you can add a higher count to that and it will send it up, and it will automatically change the UVs so you're not getting an exact replica. It will make it look unique. And the same goes for this array of pillars. We have an array going to the side and we have an array going up. And so you can just add more depending on how many levels you have. And these also have changing UVs, as you can see. I used that to make these background assets over here. Also, you don't have to have your buildings actually in the ground as long as you have something that is covering them, and then no one is going to know. The bridges are actually an asset that I have pre-made for you guys. Comes with the pack. And again, these trees and this ship were part of the Blender Kit add-on. My water material is actually from a Max Hay water material video. So if you want to learn how I make that, you can either screenshot this node structure or you can go watch Max Hay's water tutorial. That's how I learned how to make water like this. The nice thing about the water is that the color's super changeable. So you can use these to kind of change what's going on. As it gets deeper, you can make it more green. And last but not least, this door is using quite a complex node structure. So what I'm using is the same image as the bricks, the brick material, and I'm feeding that into a color ramp to crush it. And I'm mixing that color ramp with these scratches so that you get this material, and that is going right into the bump height. And I have the strength pretty high on that. But then I also brought in this image, which is just a free image with a cool design on it. And I have that pumped into a color ramp, and that is going down into this color ramp right here, which causes it to glow because this color ramp is plugged into the emission. And to mask out all the rest of the glow, I have a gradient texture set to spherical, and I have that set just where I want it to be. So I'm darkening this image with this being its mask, and that's just, again, plugging right into the emission color with a strength of 4, and that gives this nice glowing material to it. I also am using ambient occlusion nodes with a noise texture to set up edge wear on this door. So anywhere that this is kind of darker is going to mix in this material. This brick material would be kind of mixed in with that. So that is how that's working. And that all just feeds into this material output, and you get a really nice worn down bumpy door that also is glowing with a cool design. And if you swapped this image out with any other kind of image, it would automatically update the glow to be something else, right? So that's the cool side of this material, which you guys will also have access to if you get the sample pack. This is all going to be in the sample pack. I do have a little guy down here. Again, he's from TurboSquid, so he's just the scavenger from TurboSquid, and I just used couple image planes with some fire on them, PNGs, and an image plane of smoke. And his torch is literally just a cylinder with a brown material on it because our camera is so far away, couldn't really see what he was holding in detail. And the sky is a image plane as well with the emission set to 5. And I also did set that same image plane up above everything to really get more of a soft glow as if the sky was continuing forward, right? And so in camera, it looks great. Looks like there's just clouds back there. But I also did add in some lights. I also have these point lights that are shining down onto specific areas just to add really nice highlights in onto our towers, onto the metal areas of our towers. And altogether, you have this wonderful scene that I think looks pretty good. And that's how I built this. If you're looking for a really useful castle pack, go check this out. It's on Gumroad. It's only $10. Comes with this whole scene besides some of the assets that are in it. And I would love to see what you guys make with it. I hope that this is something that you guys can use.